What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Tuffy Talk live show. We are excited in one way, particularly in a huge amount, but then too as well too. We obviously wish the week could have gone a little bit better across NC State sports, but we'll get there for sure. But we're gonna first focus on the big dub for sure, and that is Beaver Nuggets are on the live show. Yes, y'all, we are officially sponsored by Bucky's Tuffy Talk live show. Let's do it. Yeah, Megan, we made it, bud. Can you imagine?
Wow, we've arrived, man.
5 years ago when we started this, man, we'd be sponsored by Bucky's.
I'm going to have to give me some Bucky Nuggets now. That's pretty wild, man.
Well, yeah. I was just gnawing on them because I'm just here so I don't get fined because I don't really want to speak about anything, specifically baseball. So I'm glad we're going to talk about wrestling to begin the podcast. So I was just going to just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we are excited here, and we're excited to welcome a friend of the podcast, somebody that if you followed Tuffy Talk for a while, especially after some big wrestling news, you recognize his face and his name, Nigel Jones, former NC State wrestler. Nigel, appreciate you coming on, brother. And I'm sure it was not too much of an arm twist for me to ask you to come on and talk about this huge win for NC State wrestling.
It's never, I love to talk about wrestling, so it isn't that hard to get me on here, especially when you say, hey, we want to talk about wrestling. So I'll show up to talk about that all the time.
Let's go. Yeah. So with that being said, obviously the big dub we're talking about here, Isaac Trumble, 2026 heavyweight national champion, y'all. And so I'm rocking my NC State wrestling polo, got the wrestling, wrestling chain as well too. Dude, Greg, absolutely.
I was so focused on Beaver Nuggets that I forgot the real prop.
That's right. Got to rock the chain for that dog, Isaac. Are you ready to trumble, man? So getting right into it here, man. Here's my thing. I'm gonna. You know what, Nigel? I'm gonna go at it here, like pretty much to the main point that I've been thinking about ever since Isaac won it on Saturday night. And that's thinking about us when we talked about Trent Hidlay and where he stands as all-time greats after winning that world title. And saying, he's the 1A, 1B with Nick Wisdowski. He doesn't have the national title, but he has a world title, which is something that NC State has never had before. And now I'm thinking about Trumble going, all right, this guy's got a U23 world title, gold medal, and he's got a national title. And not only a national title, but a dominant national title. I mean, I don't know about you, Nigel, but for me and my, rookie viewpoint, watching those last two matches, specifically the semifinals and the finals, it wasn't a dominant win on the scoreboard, but he controlled that. He controlled both matches from
that
beginning
was
to end. Yeah, like it was
that
a
was a
dominating
dominant
fashion.
performance. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't, like wrestling scoring, right? Kind of it rewards like takedowns, escapes, and things like that. But Younger got a takedown in every match that he had this year, except for he did not take down. He didn't take down Isaac. So
Mhm.
think about the domination in that way that he stymied someone that like I think he almost tech falled Adrian Ferrari in the semifinals. Younger did, and then he wasn't able
Mhm.
to score on Isaac. So dominant performance, and from a defensive standpoint, dominant performance, and like he was able to hold him down the entire time. He was able to protect his
Yeah.
legs the entire time. He never was in any like huge danger, right? He
Mhm.
was able to get his boots in. Well, we call those legs. So he was able to get his leg right in. He was able to get a lot of different things going for him that traditionally at a heavyweight you don't see that type of
Mhm.
dominance. Nick was a different type of like heavyweight. He kind of broke the mold of like he's going to shoot 6 or 7 times and take you down 5 times, and then he's going to
Mhm.
take you, maybe get a tilt, maybe get a turn. And Zeke kind of different in a dominance, a way of like his defense was very stingy. He moves like, I think he started off at 184, or yeah, he started
Mhm.
off at 184 his freshman year. And he still moves like
Mhm.
a 184 pounder. He's just extremely strong now at heavyweight. So very
Yeah.
dominant in that regard. I feel like from a layman's like, or from like someone who doesn't, I wouldn't say like, I wouldn't call you guys rookies, right? As wrestling fans, but someone who's like starting to understand the nuance of wrestling, like that was very dominant. That was a very dominant performance.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, no, well, and to build off that too, I did wanna ask you, Nigel, because first of all, too, for those listening and not sure who Younger is, Younger Bastida is the heavyweight for Iowa State that he beat in the finals, was undefeated all year. Yeah, was obviously a dominant fashion, pretty much the whole season until he met Isaac. Well, here's my other thing too, though, Nigel, and I wanna ask your thoughts on if this credit should be given to Isaac, to Pop, to both, but I mean, Rock Harrison, who called the match. First of all, love Rock Harrison.
He's the best.
I love the fact that guy's in the ACC. I don't know if there's a better wrestling commentator, honestly, in the country than Rock. Honestly, like love listening to that dude. But one of the things that he talked about when the match has started was how it plays to Isaac's advantage if Isaac keeps Younger close. How he doesn't give Younger space to use his speed to his advantage against Isaac. And so you saw that the entire match that Isaac was pretty much forehead to forehead with Younger the entire match. So it definitely seemed like for sure that Isaac had a phenomenal game plan of how to beat Younger going into it, and he executed it to perfection. So I mean, I did want to ask you because I'm sure, just like with any other sport, watching tape is probably a big part of wrestling for sure. So,
Yeah.
kind of walk me through that. Is a lot of that credit to Pop? Is a lot of it to Isaac, or is a lot of it kind of on the cuff? Because especially too, it's a little different being that,
Yeah.
they
So,
they only had a day to prepare. So
well, you kind of know if you plan on making it to the finals, you kind of have there's probably three. You look at you don't have to beat everyone in the tournament, right? You only have to beat the one guy, or three
true.
guys, to make it to there. But she probably had a
Mhm.
good idea. A lot of film out there to see. You watch Youngers from a strategic standpoint. When you lose, it's on the coach, and when you win, it's on the wrestler, right? But I think if we're looking at it holistically, um, from the sideline, it was like you watch, Angel was in the corner, and so was Pat. That's how you're looking at like who came up with the game plan. Isaac just kind of looked like Isaac out there, to be honest. It didn't look like the I don't understand. I understand what you're saying, but it didn't look like he was out there executing a game plan. More so like he just was gonna not let Younger dictate the type of move set that he was going to do. Um,
Mm,
so
okay.
you go back to watch Younger's match. So like I said, Isaac likes to put boots in. He was able to get his boots in. He was able to hold him down. Uh, Younger took the shot from space, and Isaac scrambled. He did the leg pass, knee dive to score like that kind of funky scramble position.
Which we'll talk about.
Watching live, it kind of looked like a takedown. It doesn't matter because the score doesn't
I-
matter, right? But it kind of looked like a takedown for Younger. But
Okay.
a different situation if it's a takedown to a reversal versus straight takedown, right? So it's the difference of a point, maybe 2 points if you get the escape, right? So it ties the match right back up. Reaction time, blah 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 blah. I'm not a fan of it, but I think it doesn't matter. Even if he gave up the takedown there, like Younger wasn't. He didn't show anything that he was going to get off a bottom because he didn't do it the entire match. So that's my opinion on it. So let's go back to your original question. Yeah, Pat will talk to us about game plan. Like he kind of when I was there, he kind of gave me a little bit of freedom, just like. But he would always, hey, what's the plan? If I had a bad plan, he's like, I don't know about that. If I had a good plan, he's all right, go out there and do it, right? So, I don't know how it is now. That was almost 10 years ago, right? So, I would assume there's some game planning. There's probably not a lot of film watching at NCAA, so you probably do that beforehand. But yeah, it was a good game plan. You saw that the match before. I watched every single match almost. So like you watched the match before when Zeke made it to the finals, right? He same kind of shot with that high C. He gets there to the bear hug and he puts the boots in, holds the guy down. Same thing against Younger. Younger's really good from space. If you give him too much space, he can shoot that double. He's obviously really strong. So he got to that double twice on Zeke, but Zeke was, fed him the hips, fed him the crossface, and didn't engage with that double. If you saw Younger in the semis, now I'm giving you too much information from my analytical brain, but if you saw Younger in the semis, he was able to like AJ, he shot the double. AJ tried to counter instead of like sprawling and getting his hips back, and he just picked him straight up and threw him on his back, and he did it 3 times in a row, and Zeke fed him the hips and stretched him out, and Younger was able to lock his hands. And traditionally, if you can lock your hands around the thighs, you're probably going to finish that. But Zeke, a full-fledged heavyweight now, was able to feed him hips and stay out of that position. So
That's what I think is interesting about that match when he was talking about. I noticed multiple times when Trumble was on top of Younger, it was like they kept talking about the reference about having heavy hips and keeping on top of him. And I thought that was interesting. Like, why can you help us understand why that is a key strategy and how Trumble was able to leverage his skill set and strength against Younger?
Yeah. So think about like doing a push-up, a bodyweight push-up. You can probably do however many of those you can as an adult, right? 20, 30, 40. But then think about it when someone who's your size and is actively trying to keep you down to not let you do a push-up, how much harder that is to do. Especially when you can't use your hips, because if your hips come off the mat, then Zeke's gonna get his boots in even deeper. So all you can really do is get your chest off the mat. And the way Zeke rides hips or rides legs is if he can get to like that cross body ride or that claw ride from the hips, he's gonna probably turn you. And if you remember his second match, I think he pinned the guy, the exact same position. The guy tried to come up, Zeke went under through the claw and just turned him, like hooked his chin and got him flat and pinned him. Like normally, if you are flat on your stomach, like back in my day, I would count it's going to take you about 15 seconds to stand up from you going flat on your chest. So the longer you're on your chest, that 15-second counter hasn't started yet. So and he was able to beat him heavy hips and keep his legs in. And that was going to lock Younger's hips to the mat. And all he can do is push off with his arms. And like your arms are not as strong as anyone's legs. And in the same weight class, So that's probably why he had a lot of difficulty getting up off bottom. And Zeke's good. He's good there. He's the best. He's probably the best top wrestler at that weight in the tournament, and it showed.
Yeah. Well, and to kind of go to that point too, which Macon even mentioned, I remember there was a comment at the beginning of the third period where it was mentioned that the Iowa State coaching staff was like, "Hey, like, do you want to go neutral?" And Youngers chose, "No, I want to go bottom." And so, like, do you think that was a little bit of a pride call? Do you think that was like I don't know, he just he just got controlled. So I mean, like I don't know. Just what were your thoughts on that call? Maybe hindsight 2020, maybe not the best decision.
He didn't take him down, so it's like it's hard to like it's hard to just. It's not hard to not just because he almost got the takedown too. Like we're forgetting that. Like he almost got like in my viewpoint, like you take reaction time out. He gathered both legs. He got the
Sure.
takedown, smart move, right? But if he gets the escape and then the takedown, then he's technically winning, right? Off of but he has to hold Zeke down to not go in overtime. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think it was a not smart move. I would have probably done the same thing. Like you're not gonna win a national championship by not getting off bottom. It's like a free throw, right? It's a free point. You got to take
Mm.
it. And in that match, if he gets the escape and he gets the takedown, right, then he's winning. But he didn't pick bottom, obviously, because he didn't get off bottom the entire time. So I don't think that strategically, I don't think that was a bad. I don't think it was a bad move.
That's fair.
You mentioned like both wrestlers kind of went in there undefeated in the national championship. Just doing some research, it looks like Trumble was the only NC State wrestler to go undefeated and win a national championship. Do you know if that's a true statement? I did notice, like
Nick,
in 2016, Tommy and Nick both went into the tournament undefeated, but neither won. And then Hadley went in a couple years ago undefeated, but didn't win. Do you know if that's the first undefeated championship?
I think Nick was undefeated his sophomore year he lost to
Mhm.
Adam Kuhn. And then the next year he lost to Mike McDonald, who was one of the commentators. And then he lost to Adam Kuhn. So I don't know what order that was in. But I want to say Nick his second title he was undefeated. I want to say that. But
Okay.
was DC undefeated too? He lost to
No.
Metcalf, but he
Yeah.
lost to Metcalf in the All Star, and that doesn't count like as an official match. So I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I'm pretty positive DC was undefeated, but
It was funny.
and
That video came across my X feed today.
Mhm.
Apparently it ruffled some feathers because of how what was it that happened? From the
They salted.
non-handshake from yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Iowa guy not shaking hands. Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not a big deal to me.
no, I agree. Yeah. No,
No,
like
no.
like like like
But
like like thanks. You
it
you
brought
you
up
just
some
took my dream away from me. I'm sorry. I'm not really like, very chipper about congratulating you on
Even
three
yeah,
more
and by
championships
the
so,
way,
right
I've
now.
lost to you 9 times.
yeah, it's not like I don't think it's bad sportsmanship, right? Like it's just honestly it's a little performative. Like why are you like he's the only
Yeah, what
person
are
who
you doing
did
that
that,
for?
right? He was the only person that
Yeah.
went by and tried to shake everyone's like there was 10 national champs, only one guy stopped to shake everybody's hand. And a little I like Mitchell Messenbrink. It's a little performative in my opinion, right? Like
Mhm.
you're mad that someone didn't shake your hand when you offered to shake your hand and he shook your hand every time he was supposed to. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
I'm that's my take on it. Like
He knew what he was doing.
Wrestling's a mean guy sport. Wrestling's a tough guy sport, and when you have to be tough all the time, there's not a lot of room to be like, oh, I'm supposed to get up and shake your hand, right? And he did that after the match, and like, well, so why
Yeah.
are we doing a fourth, fifth, seventh handshake at the
Yeah.
podium line? I don't know. That's my take. I'm not going to disagree with any if someone says it was. I will disagree if someone says it's poor sportsmanship. I won't. I
Yeah.
will disagree if someone says it's a bad reflection of his character. I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Agree with that. So I did want to kind of pull it back around to the question I was kind of getting at in my very first question, which is where does Isaac kind of live now? In terms of all-time greats, because I'm sitting here looking at resume, Nigel, being like, I mean, if we're gonna call, if we're gonna call a spade, I'm looking at a guy that has a world title and a national championship now, and an undefeated season to his name as well, saying, I mean, I just the
Not to
resume speaks
mention
for
the
itself to
comeback he
me.
had with all his health issues he had to battle
Yeah,
back through.
When the
yeah, I
leadership
think so.
aspect, like, because one of the things we love about Trent was his leadership, his charisma, and Trent and Isaac had all of that for sure, and then some too. So I don't know, Nigel, give it to me straight here, but I'm just saying,
Um,
spade's a spade.
Spades is, I'll say I'll give you that, but I think Sylvester Terkay, I think he was actually undefeated, like in the 70s and 80s. He
Yep,
won two at heavyweight. Nick won two at heavyweight.
yep.
Um, Matt Reese was our first one. Vino, he won one, right? The undefeated thing matters, but like in overall history, right? He's a two-time All-American. So, but if we're lining that up with Trent, 5-time All-American, Hayden, 5-time All-American, and Nick, 4-time All-American,
It's fair.
Sylvester Tay, 4-time All-American, 3-time All-American, 2-time national champ, Matt Reese,
I love this.
all those guys, right? He fits in
Nigel's
there.
flexing
He
right now.
fits in there. I am. I'm sorry. He fits in there. He definitely fits in there somewhere. And I'm not gonna be the guy to sit here right after a guy wins a national title and says, I don't know if he's in my top 5. No, he's in my top 5. But we're not gonna redo the Mount Rushmore. We just got to make more room.
No.
That's my opinion. Like, you know
like
what I mean? Like, we just got to put more people up there.
I agree.
And what it means to the program, right? Like, we got a guy that didn't come in. Well, no, Zeke was historically like a blue chip recruit, but like he had the health issues. He goes to a different weight class. He had the early success, and
Mhm.
he's one of those disciples of the Hitleys too. So he was on the team with both those guys, right? And that's
Mhm.
important to like how he finished out his career.
So,
Disciple of the Hidleys. I love that.
so
Oh, yeah.
Go.
I have kind of a fun question, right? A lot of people would say NC State is kind of a quarterback U, right? With the success that we've had with putting guys in the NFL. Would you
Oh,
say
we're
NC
still
State
going.
is the heavyweight U with all the championships that State's had at that level?
Okay, so this is a difficult question because Minnesota is
sure. For sure. I
heavyweight.
mean, they're
Gable
the-
Stevenson,
yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
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 We got 3 heavyweights over a span of like 5 decades. I think Minnesota has like
Yeah.
they've had a heavyweight guy like almost every 3 years, probably win a national title.
Okay, so we'll put an asterisk on it. Heavyweight U of the ACC.
Oh yeah, I mean we're
Oh, for
everything.
sure.
We're
We gotta
everything
kinda
of
bring it down a
ACC.
level.
We're everything of they. No,
Yeah.
but like that goes to our range, man. Like Trent and Hidley, or both the Hidleys, right? They are right there as like 2-time finalists, and then because we had 2 middleweight guys, and Kevin Jack, Tariq, all those guys, like all finalists, all guys who made it to the finals, or I guess Tariq made it to. It was a takedown away from being in the finals. He lost in the semis to a really good guy. But like we're not heavyweight. We're a good team, man. Like we got guys, like Vincent at 125, Tariq was at 133, Hayden was at 157, Tommy was at 157. Like we got guys who are national title threats at every single weight now, and we're not to put like a very super positive spin on your question, but like
No, it's fine.
we got the 2 guys, Nick, but then we got Mock too, who won at 97. You know what I mean?
Yep,
So
I
it's
was
just
about
like
to say, yeah.
we got guys. We're deep. The bag is deep, man. We got guys. We got guys all over the place.
How many are you saying that individual national champions at heavyweight are you saying we have?
I believe
3?
we have 3. Sylvester
3?
Turkey,
Nick
and then Trent.
Trumble.
But
You're
I know we
missing
have.
one. Didn't
Oh,
Tab?
Tap Thacker.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Tap Thacker.
Tap
Yeah.
Thacker. There we go. We got 4. We
Yeah.
got 4 guys. And Tab, Tab a different type of. Tab was definitely undefeated too, because he was a different type of. He was a different kind of heavyweight.
Yeah. For the record, I used ChatGPT, so it wasn't maybe the most reliable tool, but I was just trying to use what I had. So,
Man, if Lee Davis is watching this, he's like getting ready to throw a chair that I forgot to mention. Tab Thacker.
Tap Thacker.
yeah. Well, that was
Tab
definitely
Thacker.
the one that I was counting. I wasn't counting the earlier one before him. I was like, Tab had he was the man in the 80s.
Yeah, Bob. One of those Bob Gozzo's teams. I think like Bob Gozzo. It was my high school's coach. My high school coach wrestled at NC State, and so like I know like Bob Guzzo would come to our practice, and he's a crazy person. He would come to our high school practice, make us practice on a Saturday, have us there from like 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., yelling at the parents are like, "Yo, can I take my kid home?" And he's like, yelling at the parents. And I don't want to take up too much time. This is such a funny story. He comes to our practice on a Saturday, and we're literally there till like 3 o'clock, and the parents are like, at least get the kids lunch. He goes to McDonald's and buys like 10 double cheeseburgers and cuts them in half. And it was like, so we've got like 37 kids on the team, mind you. So he comes
Gotta
back
make weight.
He comes back with 20 cheeseburgers cut in half, and he's all like, right, the starters get a burger, and then the rest of you guys got to wrestle for it. And then And that was my first introduction to Bob Guzzo. And like he would catch you in the
Oh my
hallway.
God.
Like my wife now,
funny.
she was on the cross country team at NC State, and he knew her. So like he would grab her in the hallway, like when you see Nigel, show him this arm drag, and like literally carpet wrestling with her in the hallway for 20 minutes after practice. I'm not joking. That's a
That
true
is
story. It's a very
that is an
true
amazing
story.
story. I love that. Well, a couple of comments here. Michelle saying it was so exciting watching Trumble in the final. Preacher Man saying Trumble has gave a lot of credit to people having Gwiz in the room helped. He said, and having guys like that in the room isn't great. Ain't that right, Greg?
Absolutely. Love.
Yeah. So
I love seeing it.
So-
Love seeing this guy. I mean, I've
Yeah.
only been a wrestling fan now for 5 years, and like just seeing the national, like for me, I've seen the program grow in 4 or 5 years. For folks like you, Nigel, who's been around it a lot longer, and people that have been there, like they've seen it grown 100-fold. Like I've only seen it grow like
Yeah,
this
it
much,
is.
but it's insane.
Yeah, when I was on the team, we would also wrestle at Carter, or not? Yeah, Carter Finley. No, that's the Carter
Dorton?
Finley.
Dorton.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not Dorton. Where they wrestle now? What's the
Reynolds.
name of that place?
Reynolds,
I'm
yeah.
so sorry.
They would cut the curtain down. The curtain would come across.
Down, and there would be 10 fans in there, and
That's exactly
the
right.
fans were
I was one of those
my
10
girlfriend.
fans when I was there.
Yeah, it was Macon, my girlfriend, and my parents, and the other kids' parents. So it's like
It was pathetic.
we were good too. We were good.
We were good, but it was like no culture. It was no culture.
Yeah, we had no even worse. I don't want to disrespect the time, but like if you go back and look what happened to those guys on the team, it was kind of like a negative culture. We got in a lot of trouble. I don't want to. We got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you shared that before on here.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
But I remember it was like 10, 20 people there to fan. Now it's filling up the whole arena. I mean, it's amazing how it's changed
It's crazy.
since 15 years. So
Yeah, before like there was probably one season ticket holder, right? And now like there's
my dad.
Now there's just a solid fan base all around, and all the fancy seats are taken, and like the lower like the court side seats, if you will, obviously mat side in wrestling, but all of those lower ones are taken. And for most wrestling matches, you're gonna probably pull about 2,500 to 3,000, and then of course when you bring in Carolina, Virginia Tech, maybe in Oklahoma State that we've had in there before, it sells out. Yeah,
I 100%. It won't happen. I truly believe we would sell out PNC Arena. I 100% believe that if we put us versus Virginia Tech, us versus Oklahoma State, us versus whoever, UNC, we would sell. We would get really close to selling out.
Why don't we do like a duel
or
like
Lenovo.
that? Something big name, like like one of those like
the licensing, and it's hard to the schedule, and you gotta it comes out of our budget to Reynolds is free. We would have to, the wrestling team would have to pay for that spot.
That's
for
true.
For PN. And I think if we did it one time, I'm telling you, I am not bluffing when I say this, because there's people who get turned away at the door when they're trying to buy tickets for a wrestling match, right? Like we gotta theory proof it. Let's maybe do something a little smaller than Lenovo first, right? Lenovo,
well, maybe do it at
like
Denton
30.
or Dorton, excuse me. Do it at
Yeah,
Dorton.
We sold out Dorton. We sold out Dorton when we were there. But like Dorton was a different setup. It was a different setup. But we sold that out. When Missouri came, we sold that out. So I think we don't have to. Wrestling's in a really good spot. I'm not. The administration backs us. They're proud, and we get good grades. We graduate our guys. We're ACC All-Americans. We're ACC All ACCs, All Americans, and All Academic Americans too. So it's we're doing all the right things. And I think take a chance on us one time. Give us PNC. Ask for it and pay for it. And if we can make our money back, let's see if we can. How cool would it be to have the mat on Carter Finley, right? And put that at the 50-yard line, and
kind of like what volleyball at Nebraska did, right?
That'd be sick.
Yeah, we could do that. I think we could do it. I think now I'm not naive enough to say we can sell out
56,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, come on, let's like grow up a little bit. But I honestly, we would pack it. Yeah, it'd be a pack. It'd be an experience for
I
sure.
think you
I
could
got
definitely get the
questions.
lower level. I think you could definitely get the lower level.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Then after
Yeah,
that,
so
we might
like
as well just do. We might as well just do the little Novos.
But to your point, Nigel, like no one saw the outdoor Frozen, whatever we call Frozen Finley game. No one saw that selling out. And I mean, I get it. I think it was free for where was
Oh
the
yeah.
Carolina State hockey game, outdoor hockey game.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
Frozen Finley, I think is what they called it.
Yeah.
No one saw that they were going to have to open up the upper decks and the other side. So I think to the point, like I think people would show up because just for the fact of the novelty of it. Like I charge them $5 or some canned goods for the food bank, something, and you
Yeah.
get people to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the year that we beat Iowa in the national duels, right? They were the number 2 ranked team, and we took them out,
Mhm.
right? Like I think that was Tommy's senior year. Like you don't. I mean, we get Iowa here, man. Like, come on, let's make something
Shoot.
happen.
Shoot.
Anyway, sorry, let's get the
Yeah.
NCAA tournament. I want to
NCAA
use
tournament.
this time to also talk about one of the first times I came on, and I was telling Lane, I said, hey, there's a guy on the team named Vincent. Like, he's really good. He's gonna be a 125 pounder. And he said, you think he could beat Camacho? I said, I don't know what happens there, but if he gets on the mat, he's gonna be good. I just want to bring that up.
Talk about
my crystal
fight back,
ball.
though. Yeah, talk about his fight back, especially in the blood round.
Blood round, very nerve-wracking round,
Mm-hmm.
and to take out a guy that you're owed for lifetime, and that's
I
like
was gonna
very
say
blood
you gotta
round.
talk about that Ventresca match. You gotta highlight that Ventresca match.
Yeah,
Holy
that's why I
crap.
brought it up. Yep.
One of those things, man.
Well, hey, hold on, before you go there, Nigel, go ahead, Leighton, set the stage for anyone that isn't a wrestling follower, because people are like, what are they even talking about?
Setting the stage here a little bit. So basically, Vince Robinson is with NC
His
State.
kryptonite.
Eddie Ventresca, 125 for VTs, is on his 9th year of eligibility, and I think he's finally done. And Vinny during that time, in mix between ACC duels, championship duels, preseason duels, was 0-5 versus Ventresca. And so then it's set up. So Ventresca was the 2 seed. Vinny was the 12 seed in the NCAA tournament this year. So more than likely they were not going to see each other, but it just happened to work out because Ventresca got upset in the championship round, in the championship bracket, where it was an opportunity for Ventresca and Robinson to face each other. And again, if Vinny had beaten Ventresca, not only would it be his first win over Ventresca, but also he would be ending Ventresca's college career, which how insane would that be? And that is what ended up happening
Preacher Man
with
says
Vinny
he's got
getting
one more year.
What?
No, I think he's one of the last
I was
COVID
gonna
guys,
say.
but he didn't wrestle the COVID year, and I think you had to wrestle the COVID year to get the extra year. I think he redshirted that year.
I'm tired of hearing
but
his
he also
name.
got hurt. He also got hurt in there somewhere. So there's definitely a medical red shirt somewhere.
Probably took an Olympic year as well.
No, you got to qualify for an Olympic year. But
Gotcha.
he technically should be done unless he gets a hardship waiver for the year that he got hurt. Got hurt. And I'm not gonna. I hope he gets to wrestle again. I hope he gets to wrestle again. And that's
Just so we
hard
could beat him again.
Yeah, that part. And he's our rival. But like from a wrestling standpoint, like I would like to have been able to wrestle for as long as I could. So if he gets to come back, that'll be cool. I'm not gonna hate on that. I'm not gonna hate on that. Now I hope we beat the tar out of him, but
or the hokey in this case. But
the hokey out of him. Yeah.
I hope we beat the hokey out of him, but like I'm not gonna say I don't want him to be to be finished.
No, I get it. I mean, you have such a short window, right, to live out your dream. And
now, well, hold on. He was wrestling in 2021. That's not a short window.
Yeah. But so anyways, so that's the stage here. So we got to the championship match, and Eddie and Vinny go to overtime. Vinny gets the takedown and sends Eddie home, quote unquote, and then Vinny moves on to the next round, and Vinny ends up getting 4th in the championship, which, I don't know, Nigel, for sure. Throughout the regular season, I get it. He won a national title, but throughout the regular season, I'm like, I don't know, man. Just you're not seeing any aggressiveness from him, just not taking many shots, not dominating matches, like and the ones he should be, like that's just my thing. But like in the championship round, he turned it on. He was finally, in my opinion, being more aggressive, and it paid off for him.
Yeah. So I'll break that down.
A lot to break down.
To a couple I'll break that up. So let's start.
Yep.
Let's start with the match. I knew
Yep.
if they got to that match, they were going. This NCAA's were very weird with the rule changes and how stalling works. I knew the way that Eddie wrestles, particularly when he wrestles Vince, he doesn't take a lot of shots. Vince does, and almost to his detriment. Like if you go back to the Troy Spratley match, he was up, he was winning, he didn't need to take that shot. He takes a shot, gets Jonesy, gives up the tilt, but he got that one back. But if we stay on the Eddie match, right? Eddie does like this weird hand grip where he grabs your fingertips. And that's a real like foreign, not like foreign to wrestling, but like literally like a foreign style wrestling, Eastern European style of wrestling, right? So like they like to grab your fingertips, and it's really hard to shoot when someone's grabbing your fingertips. So you can kind of slow you down and control the pace of the match that way. And the match stayed on the edge. There's a lot of action out of bounds, right? To the rule of the law, the wrestler who steps out backwards, it should be hit with stalling. And we didn't see that in the entire match. 4, 6, 7 times that they wrestled up until NCAA tournament, where that's really emphasized. And even still, it took them the whole match. to, I don't want to say make Eddie wrestle, but it took them the whole match to force him to be offensive. And when we're talking about offense on offense, Vincent is a Ferrari for sure. And Eddie is like a very good, reliable car. So it's like in a straight shootout on the highway, right? Who you're gonna want to be in that Ferrari. And I think that's what we finally got, is that we forced the match to be on a highway, and the law enforcement said, okay, like, you guys can speed. We're on the Autobahn. We're not going to pull you over, but you got to stay on the highway. You can't get off. And that's kind of what happened. Now,
Yep.
he used that takedown. Eddie's got he doesn't have a lot of offense compared to Vincent, and he wasn't able to take him down. He wins the match. And what was particular for that match is, not only is it your season over, but if you win that match, you become an All-American. It happens in the blood round, and it's probably the most exciting round in wrestling. Almost most of the time, it's more exciting than the finals because there's so many matches. There's so much heartbreak. There's so much love happening at the same time. It's like a up and down emotional, depending on who you're rooting for. So,
Mhm.
I hate when people lose in the blood round, because it's like he was the 2 seed. He just ran it to Vincent, right? But I'm so glad that it was Vincent. I'm so glad it was Vincent. And then he goes on and he goes and beats Troy. He gets that match back. Troy kind of wrestles a similar style, except for it's a little bit more pacier than Eddie's. Like,
Who was he with?
Troy's
What school?
Oklahoma State.
That's right.
So Troy was 0 for lifetime against Vincent, and then he beat Vincent in the championship round, and then Vincent was 0 for lifetime against Eddie, and then he goes and he beats him in the blood round. So the NCAA tournament is just a wild, crazy, like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's beatable. Everyone's beatable at the NCAA. Matter of fact, you're probably more beatable at the NCAA tournament just because of the format than you are anywhere else. Because it's just a lot happening all at once, for sure.
100%. Well, and so obviously for NC State fans, obviously went into the season with a lot of high hopes for sure for Vinny. And whether he met those,
He met him. A 4th place finish, man. Like,
but no ACC title again. Like, it's just like, oh, come on, man. Like,
Yeah, but
the guy that won place got third, right?
I
So it's
know,
like,
I know, but it's just like but yes, no, I mean, like, listen, like, and that's what I'm getting to is like at the end of the day, like, yes, he did get a fourth place finish, which, you know, with how he was looking in the regular season, hey, like fourth place finish, I was excited for sure, especially now having a national title and a fourth place finish to your name. That's uh,
And
you
you still
can't be
got
too
2 more
upset at that,
years.
and you still got 2 more
he's got
years
two
for
more
sure.
years. He looked exactly in my opinion, he looked exactly the same as he did last year. I think when you're the top dog, man, it's hard to be the best person every single day of the season at the
Sure.
weight class, at any weight class. Even Zeke wasn't like technically to the letter of the law. Zeke wasn't the best heavyweight the entire year, right? I think Younger might have had a better uh, bonus percentage than Zeke, right? So, but like
Mhm.
that's just to say it's a hard sport, man. It's styles make matchups, and
Right.
Zeke was really good, and he didn't get his fair shake until he got a chance to prove it. And then
Yep.
same thing, if Vinny got a little bit more respect going into the tournament, he doesn't have to wrestle Troy Spratley, but then he probably would have to wrestle Provo in a semi somewhere, right? And
Mhm.
then the guy that he had a tough match against last year makes it to the finals. Vincent had to take him down literally at the death of the match. It's a wild tournament, and you like a lot of stuff can happen at that tournament. A lot of stuff can happen at that tournament. Like the
True.
good, the bad, the good and the bad, right? Matty
Mhm.
Singleton, he beat a couple of people that he was ranked ahead of him last year, and then this time he makes it to the blood round, and he doesn't win that match that he won last year. It's just a I don't and I'm not and I know it sounds like I'm cranking the excuse machine for these guys. I we're a top 10 team in the nation. In one of the hardest sports to do it because it's an individual sport. You look at the cross country team, right?
Yeah.
It's an individual sport. They're collecting team sports. They were so the fashion that they did it, they were so dominant that when we look back and we watch how like these other teams, it's like we want that same success. And I think like Lori's been the coach. Lori's been the coach there since I was there, right?
Mhm.
It takes time. It takes Lori's been there longer than Pat. It's been there, and she's got her 4 national championships, and
Mhm.
she's got the best recruits, and she's doing all that. My wife was on her team, and she was a freshman All American, for example. So it's just like it's all these
Mhm.
sports are hard to do. I'm not cranking up the excuse machine, but like
Mhm.
there's only one Trent Hitley. There's only two Hitley brothers. We got both of them, and they were on the team at the same time, and we had the best finish that we've ever had with those guys. So we need it. Like you need a team full of those guys,
Yeah.
and we can do that. I'm not saying that we could. Vincent is one of those guys. Zeke is one of those guys. Jax Arrington is one of those guys. We got Zapita now. He's one of those guys. All those guys who are going to be
Who?
learning from the school. He's one of our freshmen. He was
Okay.
like a top 3 recruit. He's awesome. He got coached by
Okay.
the school that he went to the same school as the freshman from Oklahoma State that won at
Well,
197.
well, and let's use that if it's okay to kind of transition to next year. Obviously you're losing Ryan Jack, you're losing Trumble.
I got some big news for you boys, by the way. But continue.
Well, is
Some
it about the
speculation
news?
news, not big news.
Well, I was
Wait, is it about the coaching staff?
Reckless, hold on. Time. Reckless, Leighton, finish your thought. But reckless speculation based on nothing. I have not talked to anybody. I don't know
okay.
anything. This is a very gut feeling that I have. Continue.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. Preacher man, don't worry. We're getting to
I
what
think
you
we're
and Greg
dancing
and
around
I
it. Yeah.
we're dancing around. We'll get there. We'll get there. God, so okay. So yeah, you're losing Ryan Jack. You're losing Trumbull. You're losing Zach Redding, who was a solid contender. Hated to see him go out with the injury default like that.
We're using Brody, our 97 Bonner.
Brody. Oh
And
yeah. Okay.
so
And so with that being said, for next year, so like you said, so you obviously got Vince, you got Arrington coming back. Arrington,
Daniel,
Maddie, who?
Daniel Zapita, our blue chip freshman, Will Denny,
Coy
Coy,
and Maddie.
and we got someone at 133 who is really
Preacher
good
man
too.
Sam
That
Brophy.
Yeah. Is he coming back? I thought he was a grad transfer. Not
Well,
100%
hey,
sure on that.
as we've learned, it's
Yeah, everybody. I might have an extra year.
who knows? Yeah,
I
exactly.
gotta write my congressman. See if we can make something happen.
Just
I
sue somebody.
cannot.
That's all you got to do is just file a lawsuit.
Oh, y'all would be so upset. I like the type of wrestler that I was. I was real like it's got, except for I didn't have a gas tank and like I could hit. I didn't have only big moves. I had the little tiny moves too. But like I was like, why score 2 when you can score 5?
There you
Hey,
go.
real quick, I want to continue the dancing around effect. Were you surprised by any other team results at the national championships, i.e., Stanford or Virginia Tech? Speaking of the wheel of excuses.
No, man. Stanford's got
Wow.
Hayden's doing, man. Hayden, first of all, California probably the hardest state to win a state title in. So they recruit out of their own state a lot. If you look at the Pat disciples, we'll give, if you want to give Hayden credit for the Stanford as the assistant coach, let's do that. But if you look at the Pat disciples, Donnie Vincent at Buffalo, they had a good season. Frank at George Mason had a good season. Utah Valley coach Adam Hall, first year out there, had a good season. Obi at North Dakota State had a good season. So, we're looking at that coaching tree from Pat's perspective. I wasn't surprised with any of those. I was kind of surprised with the Iowa's finish because everyone's been poo-pooing them all year. I think they kind of finished really strong for they had a lot of similar setbacks, and things like we had, and they finished strong. We were tied with Virginia Tech, I believe, up until Zeke won his match. So another big one, top 10 finish there. I think if you take if you take like a 10,000 foot view, if I told you after that Carolina match, which was a close match, right? Like we were dominant, but if I told you after that Carolina match and I told you after that Pitt match, we're gonna finish in the top 10 in the country at
I'd
the
have taken it.
NCAA tournament. Yeah, we've been doing backflips. You'd have said there's
Yeah.
no way.
In the
You'd have said
tournament,
there's no
yes. No,
way.
top 10 in the tournament, yes, for sure. I would have been thrilled
Yeah.
about it.
Especially
Yeah.
finishing third in the ACCs, right? So, like, if you look at
ACC's
that,
good.
yeah. Oh, don't disagree with that. Where I was kind of going is you finish third in your conference, and some will not give the ACC its due in wrestling. Let's be real.
Yeah.
They're idiots, but like everyone loves their Big 10 and Big 12.
Sure.
And just because they're quote unquote the blue bloods. But for us to finish third in the ACC and then still get a top 10 finish is kind of where I was going. That's a damn good, if you want to use the term wrestle back. Like I felt like that's you take that result every day and build on it and hit the recruiting trails with yet another top 10 finish.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, if I look at the top 10 in my head, Penn State, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Iowa, Stanford,
Minnesota.
Minnesota, yes, but I think Michigan, and then Minnesota, Iowa State, then NC State. There might be
Got
a
you.
couple of those.
Yeah, I was
games,
just
but
talking general top 10 in general, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
But again, once again, Stanford did finish 6th, but historically, I don't know, like, are they traditionally a top 10 program in the country for wrestling, or is that more of a recent result? I feel like that's the latter, not the first.
Rob Cole was there before he was at UNC, and then before that, they had another really good coach. His name is escaping me, but they're a perennial top 15, top 10. This finish is probably a really high finish for them, but I would not call it unusual. Where if we do a deep dive into that, right? They've gone through 3 coaching changes in the last 5 years.
Jeez.
We should probably be ahead of them. That'll be the one. If I'm going to critique my beloved NC State wrestling team, we should probably be finishing ahead. But like, they had a good season, and all their guys stayed healthy, and so
right, you have some of that look, right? So again,
right.
like just like in the NCAA basketball tournament, and to a lesser degree, well, I won't say mean, to very lesser degree, football. I mean, you need quote unquote bracket luck, right? And sometimes you need things to kind of go your way. You know, you need to stay healthy. I mean, Isaac probably finishes top 2 or 3 last year without an ACL tear. Like, I think that's like it probably happens for him then, you know, and that would only cement the extra spot on Mount Rushmore. Since you said we're not taking people off, but we're gonna expand it. But yeah, I think a lot of that, you know, just you need things to go your way, and we had very high expectations for the pack this year, and had some early injuries, and had to wrestle guys that we maybe didn't think we were going to wrestle this year. You know, yeah, it's just tough. You know, we
Yeah.
talked about Vinny earlier. You know, he struggled kind of in the middle part of the year, but kind of found it when it mattered the most. And I think that's what I would call a heart of a champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nigel, before you forget it, I
Yeah.
want to hear this big
speculation.
gut.
Okay, hold on.
gut-
I want to make
gut
sure we're
instinct.
clear from a legal perspective. I don't know anything. I don't talk to anybody.
Okay.
I would bet a lot of money that there will be an alumni joining the staff.
Well, that already came out.
It's already out.
Not the name, but
Well,
Pop released a message about 6:00 this evening.
Yes.
That said
We're
that
making
they
it-
will be adding a legend to the staff.
Yes. And so, okay, and I think you can so when
You can read the
say
tea
that,
leaves.
you can read the tea leaves, and you can read that as
Hold on, can I pause you
Trent's
real
already-
quick? Can I pause you
Yes.
real quick? If you follow X, this person did put out a statement today that was dancing around the very same thing. Didn't come out and say it, but he had a post, and then I think like 5 or 6 replies to that post, and he was kind of mentioning that it's hard to say goodbye sometimes. So again, as Leighton
if
said,
you're reading the tea leaves,
if you're reading them,
if you're reading them, they'll speak. Let me tell you why it doesn't make sense for the younger sibling of this duo to become the assistant coach. It's because Kevin Jack is already taking the job at Katy Academy, so that's a joke. But because his brother,
I was gonna say.
so he's already
Yeah.
taking the job at Katy Academy, so we know it's not going to be him, and it doesn't make sense for Trent to coach and continue to wrestle on the world stage because that does not work historically, and we've seen that. And
kind
I
of with
think
Tom. You've seen that with Tommy a little bit this year doing his MMA thing.
yeah, it's hard to do both. It's hard to do both.
Yeah.
So I think
Gwiz?
that Gwiz is already here, but Gwiz has a regular job now.
Yeah, he's an announcer.
He also does
Stickers.
home renovations.
Oh, home renovations too. Is he out of the sticker business?
Yeah, you know, Nick is a man of many talents.
Yeah.
I'm not
He's a
gonna
Renaissance
just
man.
call him. He's not
He's a
just
Renaissance
an
man.
announcer. He's not just a sticker guy. He's not just a home builder. He's
That sounds like an
one of the
entrepreneur to
greatest
me.
wrestlers in NC State history.
Absolutely.
So I think, and why this makes sense, because the timing kind of works out, and the timing is correct. And I think we need to see a couple things happen. We need to see Angel get promoted to associate head coach, and that would open up a true assistant spot for Hayden. Coach
Who?
Kelly's still on the staff, oh god, I should have said that. It should open up a true assistant. It will open up a true assistant.
We need
spot
a
for
10-second
someone.
dump like they have on ESPN where
Yeah,
we
I
can.
gotta clear that. You gotta bleep it out. But I think we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow. I think, and I'm telling you, I would drop on the floor if it was not who we're thinking.
Speculating.
He who must not be named.
Yeah, because I don't want to.
must not be named Hayden.
Right, you can't name. If you say it, and then that gives you, all the reason for it to not happen, right?
Well, that and then the trolls come out and dog you. So
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, first of all, so isn't Esposito? Isn't he the associate head coach?
Is he already the associate? If he's already the associate head coach,
I thought he was.
I thought he was
hired
too.
as that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Never
I thought he got
mind.
hired as
It's
that.
already. Look, I told you, a couple things need to happen. One of them has already happened. We're
Exactly.
that's 3 years ahead of you guys. past 3 years ahead of us
Well,
already, man. He knew what was
well,
going on.
and I'll just say that I'll say it this way: if it is Hayden, if it is, you know, like
This
again, we're
is
talking
news to
about
me, by
Gwiz.
the way. This is
We're,
complete
we're
news to me.
well again because
Nice.
we're talking about alumni here. So I'm not
I
saying
just-
you know. I'm just going at the fact of if it is a Hayden Hidlay, for example, let's say. One of the things I love about it is honestly, here's the thing. All right. Love Kevin Jack for sure. Love Kevin Jack. I think the NC State, you know, diehard fans love Kevin Jack because you know the name, you know he was
Anonymous.
a really good wrestler at NC State for
Yeah.
sure. He was All-American, you know, you name it. But Hayden Hidlay just I think would pull a lot more NC State fans' heartstrings for sure. I mean, everybody knows about the Hidlay brothers. Everybody knows about Hayden and Trent, but also too as well. I think that there's a little bit of, I don't know, like just a little bit of that fight once again. That I think that you would see a little bit more with the return of a Hayden Hidlay combined with Esposito, combined with Pat. Like I think those three guys together, that three-headed monster. Ooh, I'd be excited about that. Like that locker room would be so ship-shape.
Yeah.
It would be
I mean,
be
it's
phenomenal.
back. I mean, we can't. Frank as the head assistant coach, we're very like so blessed because all of our assistant coaches have gone to take head coaching jobs,
Mhm.
right? And they're having success. Donnie's having success at Buffalo. Obi's having success. They're not just running the program. They're putting up wins that program has rarely seen, or they're getting that program back to where that program was like in the yesteryears. So like Nick, Frank, Adam Hall, Obi, Donnie Vincent, all those guys have gone on. So it's hard to like from a pure like looking at it from like a strategic amount, like Angel or Coach Esposito is right there with like he's been the assistant coach on teams that won national titles. Me and Leighton have talked about that. So now you get another guy who is homegrown, who grew up in the program, who had success in the program. Hayden was a good wrestler before he got to NC State. He became a historic wrestler when he left NC State. He knows what it takes. You can see the only reason the only reason that gives me pause that he may not come. And also, I want to be very clear. I told Leighton this so long ago. I want to be like, I said, Leighton, when I said, hey, I said, I don't talk to anybody. But the people that I do talk to, I got a good feeling that we might see Hayden like in our coach's corner. I don't know if it's going to be next year, but I think things are lining up to get him. I just want to clear Leighton. Did I say that or did I not say that?
You're speaking the truth, my man.
The year that also one more the year that Ed Scott All-American. What did I literally text you before the tournament started? I said we're going to see something special. I said Ed Scott. I said we're going to see something out of Ed Scott this weekend. I promise you. And the All-American. I got the crystal ball. The crystal ball it's rarely my crystal ball has not. I won't say it's never been wrong. It just hasn't always been 100% correct, right? And so I think we'll see him. I think we'll see him in some capacity. The only reason it's going to have a hard time is that like he could probably go somewhere like a Campbell. Well, I don't want to say like a Campbell because they just got a new coach. But he could go somewhere like a Davis.
Be a head coach.
He could go somewhere and be a head coach for sure. But he wants to come here. I don't know that. Okay, hold on. Now I'm speaking out of church. I would imagine he wants to be back here.
Well, and especially too, because I mean, I'm thinking about his interview that he gave right, you know, after his last match, and you know, like if you have never watched that interview or if you haven't watched it in a while, I definitely recommend go back and watch it because it is.
Bring some tissues.
It's cutting some onions.
It pulls some wind out of you for sure. But you know, like it was so like there's a lot of things that are clear from that interview. But one of the things that is very clear is that he loves NC State. Like he is NC State through and through, die hard for sure. And you know that doesn't just leave you, even though you go to a ACC rival, quote unquote, you know, in Stanford.
They weren't a rival when he got there. want to make
know.
sure they weren't
But-
an ACC when he got there. I want to be very clear about that.
Exactly. So
Slander my boy's good name.
well, yeah, and I wasn't saying necessarily like that. He decided to go to a rival, but just
I'm
Right.
joking.
you know,
I'm
hey,
sorry.
Yeah, they were.
again,
Gotta keep
yeah,
it light.
But I
Go
will
ahead.
say the one thing that I love when you see the infusion of alumni into this coaching staff is that they are natural recruiters for your program, as far as they can tell you everything that they went through as far as the campus life, courses, the culture. Like they are going to know it better than, say, a coach that you just bring in off the streets that coached at I don't know, uh, Iowa State, whatever you want to go, like that, has lived in the Midwest their whole life, doesn't know a damn thing about the city of Raleigh, the college, everything. Like they can literally give you the wow tour in their sleep, and they're going to give you it to you straight. They can answer every single question that a recruit would have for them.
Yeah.
But even too, and Nigel, I want to bring you into it here. But like one of the things which I love too, which Hayden and Trent can say to any wrestler, like they really honestly have everything. Like in my opinion, Nigel, like for Trent and Hayden Hidley, they could go to any wrestler, and whatever that wrestler cares the most about, like they have it. Like Trent has a world title, which I know a lot of wrestlers have a dream of accomplishing. They have like
But
they
they
are
wrestle
both.
with fellow national champions. Like they were in the same wrestling room with
Well-
another national champion.
well,
So they
and they
can
have-
say, "Hey, look at that guy
They-
right there."
They're
They
national
have-
finalists themselves.
They're national finalists. They have multiple All-Americans. Hayden's the one of the few ever
Kid.
and
Yeah,
ever will be
kid.
5-time All ACC champion. Like
Yeah.
and also too the biggest part of it all is like they're gonna be remembered by like they have a true legacy that will live for decades in NC State fans' lore. So
Well, I mean, they
like
can
they have it all.
They
Their
can walk the
legacy is
kid.
still happening. I like
Yeah.
like back when Trent and Hayden wrestled, I left out the big monologue. Like these guys, the guys on the team, the guys are on the team actively right now, grew up wanting to wrestle at NC State because they saw the Hillies wrestle,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
They saw
And
Nick
now they're
wrestle,
being recruited by them.
and now they're being recruited. And not even recruited by them.
Right.
It's I get to be like you're going to be wrestling with Trent. Trent
Mhm.
Trent is still trying to win a world title, win a Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like our
Yeah.
our tool. Like Frank Beasley was probably the best recruiter that we've ever had. Coach Kelly's a good recruiter. Coach Esposito's probably a great recruiter. I was just with Frank personally. And I think Hayden's gonna just like the UNI coach, the University of Northern Iowa's coach. His son's a really good wrestler. He took one visit outside of UNI, and it was to Stanford with Hayden, right? Or I don't know. Okay, I don't know if that he probably took multiple visits, but one of those visits was he had an in-home visit. Hayden drove to his house, and his dad, the coach of the UNI, was like, "All right, this is fine. Like, he's gonna like. I would hope my son would want to wrestle for me, but if he goes and wrestles, like, that's just this. The point I'm trying to make is like, even you want your son to wrestle for the best program that he possibly can,
Sure.
and they invited Hayden into their house to listen to what he had to say.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't go, if he whatever happens with that guy, with that kid, whatever, like that's very powerful. That like as a father, as a coach, you're like, I will allow one other person to come in here and talk to my son, and it's
Right.
gonna be Hayden, right? And it's just like he made a funny story post about it, Coach Swap, but like it's just like the guy, he's awesome, man. He's awesome. These kids on the team now look like
Mhm.
Trent with the first thing literally his wife is right there pregnant and he gives her a kiss and literally one of the first sentences he says is like, I'm so thankful that Trent was able to help me here. And like
Mm.
I think and you think about he was on the team with both those guys, and so was Kevin Jack. Like all of our legacy guys, Ed Scott, the other twin brothers, oh my god, their names are Bullards, the
yeah.
Bullards. Like
Yeah.
those are
Thomas
guys
Daniel.
like those are Pat's kids, right? Pat was the coach on those teams, but like if you look at the mark that they left, Nick and Tommy were the first two to leave that mark, and then the people who picked up that torch was Ryan Jack, and then Kevin Jack. After Kevin Jack, it was the Hidleys, and after Hidleys, it was Trumble, and after Trumble, it's going to be Vino, and after Vino, it's going to be whoever else Hayden brings in, whoever else the Trent brings in, whoever else Esposito brings in. But it starts like I went to NC State because Darren Caldwell, and
Yeah, they just keep passing the baton down the line.
just keep passing the baton. And you talk to Mike Mock, and I don't really believe him when he says this, but he said he came to NC State because he had such a fun time with me on his recruiting trip, right? Like
There you go.
these guys that you want to be you don't got to be the best wrestler. You just need to be the best reflection of what the program is, right? Like I wasn't the best wrestler. I have a very successful career, and I wrestled at NC State. Like Tommy would.
And you have your degree from NC State.
And I have my degree from NC State, and I have one of the best tech jobs that you can have, right? So it's just like.
And apparently, you're a hell of a potter guy. I don't. You still doing that? You still?
Well, woodworking.
Oh, was it woodworking? I thought it was pottery for something like clay.
Oh my gosh, what do you think I'm doing over here?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, you know,
I'm gonna go back to eating my my beaver nuggets. I think it's probably safer that way.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm just. I know we're going over time. I'm just so enamored with this. Like, I'm so in love with this program, and like, what I was able to do, how I was able to parlay my career as an NC State alum into like, you know, I wasn't the best wrestler, but I'm one of the best career like people at my job, right? So it's like, you know, this is a career recruiting pitch to all the kids out there.
There you go.
I wasn't the best wrestler, but
you knew your role, right? And I think at the end of the day, it's about being a team player, knowing your role and how to be the best version of yourself.
I think I left NC State with being the best version of Nigel that I could be, 100%. And I didn't win the big one, so what? But I think you talk to Mott, you talk to those guys, and like what I did in the room, what I did in the classroom was just like things that Pat told us to do. And I think, you know, if you listen to him, he turns guys who didn't win state championships to national champions, right?
Well,
not a lot of people can do that.
And again, Nigel, like, I mean, we've talked a handful of times. I think you were there at the right time when the program needed you, right? Like you were a great bridge where they needed some cleaning up, if you will, and some young, fine, upstanding gentlemen like yourself had to come in and clean it up and kind of set the standard. I mean, you guys were the foundation for what we are seeing now.
Don't give me Tommy and Mock. I have to give them.
You were part of it, though. I mean, again, everyone has to play their part in the whole thing. Like you may not have all the accolades, but without you, there is no team. Like think about it in that regard.
And Pete Renda, sorry. If the name is just hey, you get me going. I'll name so many guys. I'll go all the way back to the 60s, man. I'll just boom, boom, boom.
I love it.
Boom.
You're a historian, man. Like that's important.
Absolutely.
Like, that's important when you're trying to talk the legacy of the program.
Yeah, you have to be able to talk about the legacy of the program. Like I think I'm not saying you guys aren't real fans, but like I think once you guys become diehard wrestling fans, like you guys are learning the legacy now. Like in 10 years, they're gonna be like Ryan Jack, Jackson Erickson, Matty Singleton.
That's the point I wanted to make earlier when you were talking about like, you know, Kevin. Like, yes, he was a very good wrestler. There's no doubt, but you have to think about the time when he wrestled here before the program had exploded. Like he was just on the verge. I think if my dates are correct, like I don't think it was to the level that it is today. It was starting to build
not
that
the consistent level.
Well, he was on the team. He was on the team that got a trophy. So like going back,
the highest NCAA finish we've ever had. Yeah.
What year was that?
Team. 2000. Tommy graduated in 2014, 2015. No, Tommy wasn't on the team.
No, Tommy was on the 2016 team.
Nah, because me and Tommy were on the team together. I graduated in 2014. Might have been 2017, 2008. It was like Tommy's first year, as in the RTC.
Not on the team.
Not on the team. So it was in the Hidleys were like a finalist and a fifth place.
Well,
finish.
yeah. What it was really kind of the beginning of it was kind of the middle part of Kevin Jack's career where state wrestling started.
This says he was Tommy was a champion in 2016.
Oh, there you go. That's man. Hold on. Yeah, I guess Tommy was a
We're
I did my
old,
research
Nigel.
earlier today. Dang it! I did my research.
Tommy was a sophomore when I was a senior. No, he came in the year out. I'm
Yeah,
getting
it's all
old.
good. It's all good. But I mean,
I'm
we're getting
old.
the
old.
talking. What my point was that was 10 to 11 years ago. That was when the program was just starting to really get on the map and the
That's
fans were
right.
really starting to come out. And that's the reason
Yes.
why I was saying, like myself, like I know Kevin because of like he's an assistant coach. Like I was watching all of that, but I could never tell you without going back and doing research how good of a wrestler he was.
He was great.
And so we've had so many new fans like over the last 7 to 8, 9 years kind of start to come on board. I would love to
Mhm.
see a graphic of like season attendance from like, when you were
Oh,
there
brother.
on
It's
beyond and just to see
negative attendance still.
they had to pay people to come watch them.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
But so that's just the point when you're naming the names that you were naming, people can resonate with the Hidleys and the Tommies and the Nicks and the Mikes and all of those people. Like again, more recent
Yeah.
times.
Tommy won ACCs
Yeah.
in 2016. He was the champ team was in. I just saw it in the comments. The champ team was in 2018. Tommy won ACCs in 2016. He was undefeated going into the. He was undefeated going into the NCAA tournament.
Right.
It was like Imar and Jason Nolf, some two really historic guys.
Ooh.
Say
Yeah.
you get me going, man.
Yeah.
I can boom, boom,
Oh, yeah.
boom, boom. I
There
can
you go.
start naming them all. I can start. Yeah, we're gonna. But like
Well,
one last thing for me, I just want to talk about like the outlook of the team, right?
yes.
I'm curious to know how many points we scored in that 2018. I can look it up. I'll tell you later. I'm curious to see how many points we scored as a team in 2018 and see what that will place us this year. Because I think about the bar of entry where like we all these really good teams are happening at the same time, and we're looking at our top 10 finish, and I'm not gonna say we're spoiled, but like last year we finished like in the top.
80.
We scored 80 points,
Yeah.
and so that would have got us what, fifth place? Not even fifth place. That would have got us 80 points. Would have got us fifth place.
Like
No,
Penn State
would've
had
got us
like
sixth.
Penn State had like 190 or something like that. Something
141 and a
stupid.
half.
Yeah, they had 141 and a half that year. This year they had 181 and a half.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy.
80 points would have got us sixth place and had a Stanford, for example. Stanford scored 67 and a half. So like I just want to put it in perspective. Like we scored 44 and a half points this year. The team that we have isn't as half as good as that team was, right? And the teams we had previous weren't half as good as that team was. From a tournament perspective, and how the scoring and how that works, right? We two extra guys that if Jack is completely healthy, for example, and Ayrton is completely healthy, for example, um and let's say we get a little bit, I'm not going to call it a weight class, but let's say we get a little bit more production out of two more weight classes than what we did, right? We're in the top 5, we're in the top 4, so we're not that far off. And I think like I'm not asking you guys to be patient because we've been patient for so long, but like we're not that far off. The team is great, and we're so very close to becoming like a perennial top 5 title team. And
It real quick, if Vince and Isaac had won the same year, does that pretty much put you in a top 5 kind of finish? Obviously, some other things have to play out, but like you're in the conversation more than likely.
we would move. So, well, okay. So Isaac scored probably as many points as he could score, and then if Vino was like a couple matches off. Sometimes there's guys who get third place who score more than the person who got first place, right?
Sure.
Get the extra match, placement points, and then if the first place guy wins every match by decision, and the third place guy loses the match but he bonuses everyone, he's going to score more points. So like, it's more like you got to get the guys in there. You got to get the guys in there. I'm curious to see what the spread ratio would. I think we got 5 guys in, and we placed in the top 10. I'm curious to see if we had the least amount of guys with the most amount of points on average, right? So I think that's also a pretty good indicator of what a good team looks like. So I think like a top 10 finish. Obviously, we want more. We're looking at Stanford. Stanford well overperformed. They had two guys place sixth place, a guy placed third place, and the guy placed first, right? The guy who won.
Didn't we
That
have
would
the
have been
whole
our
team
whole
in
team.
last year? Was it last year or the year before last? We had
Year before last, we had the whole team. But that goes to show, like, even if we had our full lineup, everyone would have to perform at their highest. And like we do that every year. We do that every year. But like we just need it to happen all at the same time. And I
Right.
think like
Right.
we had Trent for so long. We get Maddie's coming back. We're like the only positive points that we're losing is Trent, or excuse me,
Trumble.
is Zeke. We're getting everyone who scored points, we're getting them back, and we're reloading. So I think like I said, I just want to end on that. Like if we're done, I want to end on that one last note. It's just like I'm telling you, like if you don't know wrestling that well and you're relying on me to tell you, we are close. I'm not joshing you. I'm not pulling your leg. We are so close. We are so close to being right there. And I think once it happens, like our reaction to it has to be appropriate. Like this is hard. This is hard to do.
Yeah. So to that point, I want to leave on this question. I think we got time for one more we can throw in here. You hear rumors, all right, and this happened to us last year with Fishback, losing guys because of funding. Are we at a good funding level to where we can sustain this? Because you've heard rumors that Tech's kind of going all in on wrestling and like.
Yeah.
It's starting.
Yeah,
The NIL world is starting to kind of creep into the wrestling. I mean, I know it's there now, but it's not gone full bore as some of the other sports are. Like, are we still in a good position for long-term success? Because
okay.
your branding coaches can only take you so far in today's world.
So I think Leighton asked me this question too, as well. I think last year. I think we are in the mix. Now, are we in a mix? So Virginia Tech, for example, they got the two best recruits in the next two classes. And Jax Forrest, the freshman who won it, he was literally taking high school classes this last semester, graduates early so he can go wrestle at Oklahoma State. He's from North Carolina. I coached him when he was in the club team. So like you put that into perspective, guys like Joe Seeley, who's at Penn State, and what they're doing, and you look at what we're doing, like NIL's never been that big of a deal to us. It needs to become a bigger deal.
Are those guys getting NIL?
I can't speak to that. I would hope Vino and those guys are getting something, but we have a tricky NIL thing, right? They want to go through the Wolfpack RTC. And then we have a different NIL collective. I'm not making an excuse, right? Like,
sure.
I'm just saying
reality.
logistically, the better our football team, the better our basketball team, the more NIL we're going to get, period.
Thank you for saying that, because that's the same thing we've been trying to say. And people are like, well, that's separate. I'm like, no, it's all rev share.
Yeah. You give and I'm not naive. You give $1,000 to the NIL collective. It's if we're doing it by dollar amount, $3, $10 is probably going to make it to the wrestling team. Right?
Well, unless you can,
that's no disrespect.
You can also earmark it too. People need to understand that if they want to, if they really want to support one sport.
Yeah, and like I said, if we think we can sell out the PNC Arena, like why can't we? Like, it is crazy to ask a fan to say, if you care about the sport, give me $10. After I go to every match, I buy a drink, I buy my seats, I buy all the T-shirts. These guys are coming out with all these T-shirts that are, and excuse my French, are half-assed, and you want me to buy a T-shirt, and then these guys are making clothing now, and you want me to participate in your brand, and all this and all that. And then I also can't say, man, this guy stinks. Like, I wish he played better, right? Like, I agree with that. I don't think you should say anyone stinks, but you can, hey, I wish this guy played better. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I know I should have wrestled better, right? But the state of NIL, the way it is now, is very hard. Like, Vino deserves NIL. He's a national champ. Trumble deserves NIL. He's a national champ. Like, and everyone else in between, like you're telling me the backup center deserves NIL because he's the backup center? Like he deserves more NIL than Will Denny. He deserves more NIL than someone who places like Matty Singleton,
We might need
right?
to cut this part. People are going to get real sensitive.
No,
No, but you're 100% right.
obviously,
Nigel, you're
100%
100% right. I'm just
the
keeping it
second
lighthearted.
salesperson, the second salesperson at a company is more valuable from a sales
Than
marketing
the HR
perspective
person.
than the HR person. Like, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely. But if we're looking at it, Vino's our top salesperson
Mhm.
for Wolfpack Wrestling. Trumble's our top salesperson, and I'm not advocating for NIL. Like, I don't, I'm not a crazy big fan of NIL. I'm a fan of it. I'm glad they're getting paid. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But then, it's hard for me to stomach as a former athlete. It's hard for me to stomach like someone leaving the program because they want to get more money somewhere else. Like, and I understand that, like, that's good for you. But like, I also feel like if that person leaves and you didn't give $10 to the NIL fund, you can't be the person sitting there like, this guy just wants the money. Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, and to that point, anyone saying otherwise, you're a fool. Like, you're not telling me that you would leave your current company and situation to go get more money. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to do that because, again, depending on, there's varying factors. But for the most part, if you offer me more money, you're a fool not to take it.
As a 20-year-old with no roots, right? Like,
a little responsibility.
Yeah, a little responsive. Like, and it's not up. It's not up. Like, again, this is a very fine line. It is not up to the fan to keep you here, right? If you sat down in front of your coach and said, "I'm making commitment to NC State. I want to be here for 4 years." If someone comes and says, "I'll give you $3,000 more dollars," come on, man. But if someone says, "I'll give you $40,000, I'll give you 800 grand."
A new car.
Well, come on, don't do that. But like
no, they do. I know. I mean, they give.
Yeah, I know. I say, I'll give you a car. Come on, like, you want a Hellcat? What are we doing? What are we doing? Go drive a Honda. You're gonna drive that Honda Civic for the rest of your life, buddy. Like, come on, grow up. But like, I understand it. I understand it. Like if you're a talent, and I'm not calling him out, but like a big one is like Casey Concepcion, right? Like he left to go to Texas A&M and he got offered $800,000. We can't do that. Like, and we don't want that guy.
Right.
And we don't, and like, okay, that's not true. That's not true.
We don't want it. We have to be smart with our budget.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
We got caviar. We got caviar taste on a sardine budget.
Yeah, and we can't sustain that. And like, and honestly, if we're being critiqued, like, if we had a better football program, we could sustain it. If we were winning an ACC, we could sustain it, right? But we're not doing that. And like, our other sports are, though. Our cross country team's winning the national titles. Our women's basketball team is doing really well. Well, yeah.
Well, both tennis.
Let's say this after let's say we were having this conversation 2 weeks ago. But like our tennis team, our swim teams, our wrestling team.
We just had another national champion in swimming.
Exactly. Right. And those guys are making in the world teams. Those guys are swimming at the Olympic trials too. But we started this conversation off by saying the better your football team is, the better your basketball team is. Like, we need that support from those guys as well. We need sustained success from those guys as well. And it's gonna, trickle down economics is not a real thing, but trickle down NIL is 100% a real thing. The better your football team, the bigger the fund. And and obviously, if we had a really good football team, they're gonna get a lot more money, and then they're still gonna get a lot more money than the wrestling guys will, and that's the reality of it. But
they also make the most money for the school. So like it has to equal
to
like
shake out.
Percentage-wise. Yeah.
The wrestling room got bigger because the basketball team made a final. We share a facility. They made it to the Final Four. The facility gets bigger. The wrestling team benefits from that. So like, because I'm not gonna call anyone out, but last year hey, we got guys winning. How come they're not getting NIL? And I'm like,
yeah, that was definitely a topic last year.
Yeah, and I agree with them. You should be getting NIL, but also it's 3 days after you won a title, brother. Like,
right?
I'm sorry, I'm not calling out Vino. Like, you just like we need more representation. We need more boosters from the wrestling community who are in those rooms with our NIL fund. If we lose a guy like Dylan Fishback, to the Big Ten because they're offering him and giving him more money, and he's from there.
Right.
Like, you get to go back home, you get to live with your parents, and you get to buy your mom a new car. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not saying that's a knock against NC State. And like, hey, move your parents down here, cool, right? But like,
Hats off. Yep.
you know,
I get it.
yeah, like, Greg, you're still in Nova, right? Like you're in Hey, I'll give you $300,000 to move back home. You would probably do it.
I'm about to do it for free, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm about to take a lateral job down in North Carolina if it all works out.
And it's not like we're not money. Like, these guys aren't money hungry, but like you go to college so you can start your career, so you can lay the foundation. And if you were a regular student and you came up with a super cool invention and you're getting paid doing that, and then Penn State said, hey, we want you to come lead our technology program because all that cool stuff you did. No one's going to be like, oh my God, dude, you should have sold that patent. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that.
Or you can even use the example with Scotty McRae. Like, he was in NC State when he hit it big with American Idol and is cutting albums and records. He's not allowed to not do that because he's a college student. Like, I'm glad they're finally figuring it out. But
we got a lot. No, NIL is
whole nother
out of control.
Correct.
It's ridiculous. It's like,
correct.
I need to see a little bit more. I need the NCAA leaders to step up and
they're scared because they don't want to get sued again. I mean,
get sued, do something, fix the problem. That's not leadership. Like,
look, I don't always agree with the current administration. I don't always agree with the current administration, but he's at least mentioned that, hey, maybe have meetings about it. Granted, there are more important things to do out there, but
anything.
It needs to be reined in. But I do wish, and last thing I want to say about NIL personally is the problem is someone like myself and Leighton and probably even Preacher Man. I know he donates some stuff. The problem is a lot of these people that donate to wrestling donate to other sports as well, because again, to your point, and there's only so much money to go around before I say, hey, I'm tapped out. Actually, it's before my wife tells me I'm tapped out, but that's another topic. And so to your point, you need those other sports to do well. So then everyone can eat.
We spent too much time on this. It's crazy to me. It is crazy to me that like we're asking Greg and Leighton and Nigel and Preacher Man and Melissa, like, and Michelle, hey, give me $10, please. Like, come, like, I already pay for my. I was on the team and I paid for tickets to go there. What are we doing?
If you think that is bad, you should go to baseball games. I bought my season tickets for baseball and then had to give an additional donation for the stadium renovations. And I'm already giving to the Wolfpack Club. And I'm already giving to NIL. It's like, come on, man. Like, you just
it's hard to be a fan. It's hard to just be a fan. I can't complain because I'm not giving that much money. I already gave you. I gave you my blood, sweat, and tears. I gave you my kneecaps. I can't give you anything else.
When you're done with them, can I put them on my mantle as an homage to you, Nigel? Can I get a patella tendon and put it on my
gosh, a labrum, a patella,
all of it,
tooth, a root canal. I get whatever you want, brother. We'll give them all to you. We'll give them all to you.
That's what we need. That's what we need to auction off for NIL is Nigel's patella tendon to see how much money we can raise for the
club. Bad for wrestling. You put that patella on a regular person.
Yeah.
Hey,
oh man!
The live stream has gone sideways when we're talking about Nigel's.
Oh my God! That's what happens when you let me talk too long. I'm so sorry.
No, but I mean, it's all relative.
At the end of the day. Wrestling fans, I'm sorry.
No, but it's all relative. Again, hopefully it gets figured out because, like I said, I would love to keep giving money, but at some point, people are just tapped out. They don't have any more to give, and that's when you earlier to your point, it's like the guy that complains that we lost Fishback. And he or she doesn't donate $1. It's like, kind of shut up. Like, shut the hell up. I'm sorry. Like, get in line.
We're in a different landscape. And it isn't like these kids these days don't value whatever. No, man, it's like it's just a different landscape, right?
Well, I will say, actually, no, we'll talk about this offline. I got to start.
I love it. So
Preacher
with that
man's,
being said,
preacher man's trying to give me the hook. He's thinking,
I know.
Like, I gotta put my kid to bed.
Yeah, no. Well,
oh, I'm
Nigel,
so
I
sorry.
appreciate you as always. Greg, I'm
Thank
not
you,
letting you
guys.
go anywhere for just 10 minutes, man, and then we'll wrap up. But
right.
Nigel, appreciate you as always, brother, and we'll have you back on here soon. Talk more state wrestling as always. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Good seeing you, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
always.
you. All right, y'all. So before we wrap it up, Greg, I promised in the YouTube title and everything in the description that we were gonna have a little bit of the bad talk.
Did
But
we? I'm reading Isaac Trumble headlines week for NC State. That's what I'm reading. I'm not reading anything about bad news. I don't know. I don't know
in the
what the hell you're talking
description, all
about.
right, listen, man,
We're after. It's after 10 o'clock, so I can say, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, real quick before we get to the bad, I will bring you
Yeah.
one more good thing here. And
All
in
right.
order to do that, we got to jump on over some tweets of the week here. All right. Once again, my my tweets of the week, things got to go away. But I got to bring up here this UNC basketball tweet here, up by 19 at the moment. That's this tweet that's gotten over 2.3 million views. Hey, listen, don't worry. We'll lick our wounds next week. Talk about basketball. Basketball is not going anywhere. The same conversation that could have been had tonight can still be had next week. So we'll have it next week.
Honestly, hold on one second before you go there. Let me just check a date real quick because I think it's important. So next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is an important day.
Oh yeah,
with basketball. Yeah, because that's when the buyout for Will Wade changes. So next Wednesday is kind of a key date, and obviously all that other nonsense. And again, we'll save it for next week. But I just wanted to.
Well, I was
check
gonna
that
say
date.
we could have a whole conversation on that, but again,
and who knows what it's going to look like in a week, right?
Exactly right. So, but that still doesn't mean we can't enjoy the fact that UNC put this tweet out when they were up by 19 versus VCU. And I still think about all those UNC burners that were giving us such a hard time by barely beating VCU. Being like, really? You barely beat a mid-level A10 team? Like, what are y'all doing? And here UNC is blowing a 19-point lead to one of the biggest comeback losses in NCAA tournament history. Hey, listen.
I think it is. I think it's tied for it's the most for Carolina. And I think it's tied for the NCAA, I think, since like 85 when they expanded the tournament.
Correct.
So you're talking like 40 years.
Yep. So hey, listen, I'm just saying, it was fun to see for sure. It's fun to see, and I'm not gonna hate against it. Sorry about that, man. Before the UNC fans say anything, no, y'all don't live rent free in our heads. It's just, hey, listen, like this is a screaming firecracker that. So anyway, though, all right, Greg. So with that being said,
hold on. Before we wrap on that note, before we wrap on the Carolina thing, like, in your opinion, does Hubert survive the week?
It's tough, honestly. I actually don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I were to guess, if I were to put money on it, I would say he doesn't. I don't think that the news would get this shaky and something not happen. You know what I mean? Like there's so many reports out there that's and there's just so much pressure and heat on it. I just don't know how.
Oh, I don't know if we lost you, Leighton. You there, buddy? You froze.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hey, before I have another issue again, Greg,
please.
Even if I get kicked out here, we got to talk a little bit about baseball here because obviously, come this week, come in a couple days, baseball story is going to change again. So obviously,
for sure,
NC State baseball, really, really solid, exciting game 1 win, 6-4 win versus Florida State, and then you get donkey stomped in games 2 and games 3. And a lot of frustration. You're not still seeing the A+ student that you were hoping to see. The offense has been very not mature. Like, just you're not really seeing a lot there offensively
Yeah.
that you should be seeing. Relief pitching is not giving you what it needs. Like, so even if I get kicked off here,
Mhm.
I don't know. Give where should NC State fans think right now? Like, you know, it's not a terrible series loss. It's not a terrible series loss, but how we lost it.
Yes,
was not.
that's exactly like you're going down to Doak. You've not won a series there in forever. I don't think you've actually ever won a series at Doak, to be honest with you. So you knew it was going to be an uphill climb. You were hoping it was going to be a slog, and you come out victorious, and you felt that way. I mean, Marone threw a really I don't know if great's the right word, but a very, very good game. Made
Very
one
good.
mistake
Mhm.
to one of the better hitters in the ACC, and Bailey just absolutely crushes the ball if he makes contact. Why we
Yes.
ended up pitching to him on Saturday and Sunday. Well, we finally figured it out on Sunday not to pitch to him, but by then it was a little too late.
Mhm.
So he was really good. Nance was really good. Like that was the Nance that we expected to see out of the gate, and he kind of had been average, but he showed the old Nance. So Friday nights are locked down. Like I feel confident going into every Friday. I still feel confident on Saturdays if we can find some relief pitching behind Duden. Even though Duden wasn't his best, like I felt like again, I never like putting it on umpires, but the umpires this weekend, and since we're after 10 o'clock, was an absolute shit show. I mean, to throw Avon out on Saturday after Link comes out of the dugout, I mean, just lighting into the umpire. And for those that don't watch college baseball, pretty much if you argue balls and strikes, you're gone. If you step on the field and do it almost onto the damn home plate, you're almost 99.9% gone. Again, that's not the reason we lost the game, but it just goes to show the inconsistency. So I didn't think Duden threw horrible. Again, why we pitched to
No,
Bailey, I don't
just
know.
Yep.
Again, that wouldn't have been the difference, but the hitting approach on Friday was very good. Faced some lefties where we just really struggled against lefties. I'm not sure why we didn't kind of roll a couple of lefties out there into the lineup to maybe make it more difficult on the pitching. If you heard Avon's comments after yesterday's game, he was starting to kind of question himself and the players that he's playing. It was apparent in yesterday's game he probably only had 4 guys that looked like they were really interested in being out there. Again, like you're taking your beatings and your lumps, and no one wants to sit through or play through a game where you're down 10 runs. But show a little heart. And we scored a couple runs late. They were meaningless, but it's 5 runs. I mean, we're not. I think we've only scored above 5 like once or and then like either 5 or below in the rest of the games. It's not been great considering you. And this is the problem with an early schedule that you saw us play. Like, oh, we're run ruling everybody. We're scoring 12 runs. Oh my gosh, this is going to be the greatest hitting team since like the 26 Yankees. It isn't right now.
Mhm.
And you have guys on the bench that can hit. And for whatever reason, again, we're not in the locker room. We're not in the coaches' offices. We don't know why they're
Yep.
playing. I've
Yep.
heard some things, not my business to share here. But maybe you put those things aside and see if you can get some productions from some folks.
Mhm.
The fielding is still an issue, especially on the left side of the field, where it's like, man, we can make some hard plays, but then the more routine plays seem like an adventure. And that kind of rears its head. So do you look at shuffling that up? I think tomorrow, and that's probably much all I want to say. To your point too, the bullpen still needs to be figured out. I still don't know if we've got the right guys. Actually, the one thing I'm not even touching on that I probably should be touching on is the Heath and Coop. Like, who's your guy there? Coop had done everything to the point of until the BC Sunday game where he should have been the guy. Though Heath had looked really good in some midweek appearances. Heath struggled on Sunday. Coop was not a whole lot better. But again,
No.
that was just a game where nothing was going right. So is that something that gets looked at moving forward? Do you shuffle that? Do you shuffle, like I said, the defense? Do you shuffle some guys that have struggled in the last couple of weeks in ACC play? There's still talent on that bench to kind of dig through. But here's the thing: we're getting on the witching hour of April, and we're quickly approaching the midpoint of the season here real fast, and we haven't really settled on what our lineup and our alignments look like. So that is concerning to me. Now,
Mm-hmm.
break. That was my weekend synopsis. Tomorrow you play Campbell, a decent mid-major team who's been pretty good historically over the last few years. You have a former NC State player in Cannon Woodbush coming back into town tomorrow. Will we see him? What's our lineup going to look like? Are you going to see changes at catcher? You're going to see changes in the outfield. You're going to see changes on the left side of the infield. Like, is what Coach Avent said, like I said, that I mentioned here a minute ago on his press conference. Are you going to see things look different? And if you see things look different and guys take advantage of things on the midweek, are you going to see them come the weekend? Again, the other thing I'm going to say is, like, he hasn't really settled in on a consistent lineup lineup card up and down for the batting order.
Mm-mm.
Like, there's guys like, I think Rhett Johnson is your dude at number 1. I think that's probably the only thing. I still feel Chris McHugh should be your number 2. Again, he had a kind of a struggle at Florida State. You saw Ty Head kind of, bounce a little bit. He had a nice home run on Saturday, I believe it was.
Yep. Had a meaningless time, but yeah.
Fraseman has had some struggles at the plate. Still playing really good defense. Do you see something there? Do you see Andrew Wiggins? You see a Pfeiffer, Wyatt Pfeiffer come in? Do you see maybe a Luke Nixon slide to short like he did a few years ago, and maybe put Sherman Johnson or Mikey Ryan at second? Like do you just blow this thing up and try to figure it again on the fly? Do you do some light shocking to kind of, get that pulse back in rhythm? I don't know. But I will say right now you're sitting at 500 in ACC play, so all is not lost. You've only played 2 of your 10 series. You still have a lot of ACC play at hand. Math is hard, so you still have 24 ACC games. So you can make some hay. I will say this, that you're going to go to Atlanta. I'm actually going down. I convinced my wife to let me go. And so we're driving down on Thursday to Atlanta. You're playing the number 2, number 3 team in the country. You go get 2 out of 3. You go get a sweep. I'm not saying either of those are going to happen, but it's baseball. And if you follow baseball, some weird things happen this weekend. You saw some teams win series. You saw some upsets in a game or two. It's possible. But what scares the bejesus out of me is Georgia Tech can hit. And you thought that Florida State can hit. Georgia Tech's going to give it right back. So does our pitching figure it out? I don't know. I think, again, if you give me Marone and Duden as my 1 and 2, I think every weekend I have a chance to win a series. I do. Again, if you could just figure out who's behind Duden. 2 games in a row, we've had a lead I believe we had the lead when Duden came out on Saturday. I'd have to check that, but definitely last Saturday we did have a lead. And so if you give me, like, Duden went, where did he go? 6. Yeah, he went 6 this time. He's giving you 6-7 innings. That's a good start. You only need maybe 1 or 2 guys in the bullpen to take you home if everything works out right. So we're either going to be above 500 or below 500 after this game. Well, assuming weather's good, so we should play all 3. So you go take 2 or 3, you're right back in good shape for a run, and you've taken out, or sorry, you've completed the 2 hardest series on your schedule, and it does get easier. But you got to go hit, and pitch, and then defend.
That's right.
Did I hit
So
it
that being
for you?
said, I know that was perfect, man. That was perfect, and not a better time here too as well. So first of all, Wolfpack Nation, hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you haven't already, make sure to do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this conversation. Make sure to give us a follow at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter/X. And with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, do us a big favor, leave us a 5-star review. Greatly appreciate that as well. But with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we will talk to y'all next week about a ton of basketball. I'll have Macon back and get into the nitty-gritty here. And I'll hopefully as well, too, definitely have a little bit more news regarding the Wobe situation. But with that being said, as always, y'all, go Pack, y'all.